just to share some of the observations that I saw just now, it might be good for you to actually have a script. I do have a script that I know, like, okay, this is the flow and so on, right? So the cards also is laid out in that sense. You have the traits first, then the correlations, then the follow-up questions. And it is structured that way for a reason. Okay, so you really just have to take out the cards and just follow it through. And Jace has already thought of all these things for us and come out with the cards. So we go traits first, and then we go the correlations. And so you don't have to be very stressed right at the beginning, because as the person go through what they interpret using the traits, that's when we as coaches can start thinking, okay, there's a correlation there, there's a correlation there. Okay, and you can also just tell the coachee, let's go through all the traits first, we will discover further. And so you build that flow. You control the flow in terms of how you use the cards. Then it will become very clear, okay. So I usually will flow this way, and I'm not saying that this is the way, it's just how I worked out to be something that works for me, where I will go through the traits first, all the 16 traits. So I will do the first reading, I will say that, okay, these are the 16 traits, blah, blah, all our pre-flight checklist and everything. We will then talk through the 16 traits, okay? Then there will be certain questions, right? Some coaches will be like, hey, can you just zoom in back? I said, it's okay. We still have 16, let's go through first, right? So we go through, and then I will I will get them to turn over the cards, right? And then I will talk about, if they have questions, I will point them to say, okay, there's the strengths, there's the weaknesses, and so on, to help them make sense of what is, and to also maintain the flow, right? Then after that, after one round already, I will get the coaches to share. Are there anything that surprises them? But at the same time, I'm also noting when they have hesitations. When they read, right, you can read from their body language. When they pause, they read slower a bit, they look at you like want to ask questions, that's when they probably, you know that there's some conflicting behaviors or some things that they are unsure of. So you sort of make a mental note as well. Then when you can go to correlations, you can zoom into that. But just get them through the traits and then ask them, is there anything surprising? Is there anything that you feel you are not so sure of? Then that's when I then use the correlation cards to relate to how they are experiencing, right? So as to help them make sense. So that's one way. And usually first session you have with the coaches, right? And we all want longer sessions, right? We don't want to just finish one, right? So usually the first session I focuses on the self-discovery. I don't go into problem solving yet. Okay, until they aware already. The next session, for example, or the second half of the session, if it's a long session, you get the opportunity to then address some of the different things. So that's when then I use the questions, and tomorrow you all will learn how to use the coaching cards as well, for those who are doing that, to then make that pair of the cards work very well.